Welcome to the course Formal Language and Automata Theory. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the first type of normal form, that is Chomsky normal form. So in Chomsky normal form, there are some prerequisites. So whenever if you want to convert a context-free grammar into Chomsky normal form, what are the restrictions? So before that, let us start with the definition followed by the procedure to convert a context-free grammar to Chomsky normal form. A context-free grammar is said to be in Chomsky normal form if and only if the grammar does not contain the following. The first one is any epsilon or null productions. Second one, any unit productions. Third one, any useless symbols and useless productions. All these, how to eliminate for a given context-free grammar contains either epsilon productions or unit productions or useless symbols and useless productions. In our earlier lectures, we discussed all this with example problems. Now the same process we have to continue for any given grammar. If you want to convert into a Chomsky normal form, first you have to eliminate all these three. Then let us see the definition of a Chomsky normal form. A context-free grammar G is in Chomsky normal form if all the productions are of the following any one of the two forms. The first form is the variable A derives a variable B and variable C. That means right hand side it has only two variables length. So the length of the right hand side of the production is restricted with two variables. The second form is variable A derives a terminal A. That means right hand side it contains a single terminal. So all productions are any one of the two forms. Then you can say the grammar is in Chomsky normal form. In these two forms, the uppercase letters A, B, C are the variables, so belongs to V. Then the lowercase letter a, which is a terminal, belongs to T. So these are all the two forms of a Chomsky normal form. Same definition can be represented in sentential form. That means what is the meaning of the above definition? That is, in Chomsky normal form, the right hand side of the productions are restricted. The following are the restrictions. The first restriction is right hand side, it has only two variables, that is the length is 2. For example, A derives BC. Now you can see here B is a variable, C is a variable. Therefore, mod BC equal to 2. This condition needs to be satisfied. Then second condition, the right hand side, it has only a single terminal. For example, A derives terminal A. So here terminal is a single value. So these two conditions are satisfied by any given context-free grammar. Suppose even the productions are any one of these two forms only, then only you can say the grammar is in Chomsky normal form. Both conditions also satisfied. Then if any one condition satisfied, that means each and every production. This is not applicable for one production. In the given context-free grammar, all productions are either in the form of first or second. Some productions may contain both forms. So this is the definition of Chomsky normal form. Now, how to reduce or how to convert a given context-free grammar to Chomsky normal form? For this, there is one theorem. The theorem statement is, for every context-free grammar G, there is an equivalent grammar G dash which is in Chomsky normal form. That means you can take any context-free grammar. There exists an equivalent grammar which is in Chomsky normal form. Using this theorem, so a given context-free grammar is reduced to Chomsky normal form. Now, see the procedure for reducing a context-free grammar to Chomsky normal form. To reduce a context-free grammar G into Chomsky normal form CNF, the following steps have to be performed. The first step is eliminate all epsilon or null productions, then eliminate all unit productions, then eliminate all useless symbols and useless productions. So this is the first step for any given context-free grammar. You can check if any context-free grammar contains null productions, contain unit productions, contain useless symbols and useless productions, or any one of these, even single also. So you have to remove. Then only you can proceed to further steps. So that is the step one. Then coming to step two, after performing the above step one, if all the productions in the grammar are of the form, that is A derives BC, means right hand side the length of two variables, or A derives terminal A, that means right hand side a single terminal where capital ABC are variables, then small a is a terminal. So then the resultant grammar G dash is in Chomsky normal form. Suppose after applying step one, maybe some productions are any one of these two forms. Suppose whichever the productions which are not any one of these two forms, then you can proceed to other steps. So that's why otherwise perform the following steps. Then coming to step three, suppose if your production is of this form, that is variable A derives variable A1, variable A2, variable A3, and so on variable AN, where n greater than or equal to 3. That means the right hand side length is greater than or equal to 3. That means all are variables. But our condition is right hand side, it contains only the variables of length 2 only. But here more than 2 is there. So in this case, what you have to do, we have to introduce new productions and new variables. Then restrict the length of the right hand side as two variables or a single terminal, such as this can be done using the following productions. So here what we have to do, we have to split the right hand side of the values into two values each and every time, preferably the variables of length 2 or a single terminal. So like that, we have to introduce new productions and new variables. So now the original production A derives A1, A2, A3 and so on AN. That can be splitted as follows. Now the left hand side variable remains same. So A derives. Now the right hand side first symbol remains same. A derives A1. Then remaining all we assumed as a new variable D1. Now what D1 contains? D1 starting with A2, A3 and so on AN. Again D1 also you can split by introducing another new variables and new productions. Now again D1 take the first leftmost variable A2, then A3 and so on AN. You can assume it as another new variable D2 and so on. Then D2 derives A3, then A4 and so on AN like that. So like that the split will be continued. Finally Dm minus 2 derives Am minus 1, Dm minus 1. So like that we have to split. Here I can observe the right hand side of this split of each and every production consisting of the variables of length 2 only. The variables of length 2. So here whatever the new variables, so D1, D2 and so on Dm are new variables. So new variables are introduced. Then the corresponding new variables productions also defined here. So that is step 3. So now right hand side in between variables, suppose if there is a terminal For that, now we can apply step 4. So that is, if A derives A1, A2, A3 and so on An, if AI, that means I is 1 to n, any value in between A1 to An. So suppose here in this right hand side variables, if any one variable contains a terminal, let us say if AI is a terminal T, then what you have to do? Introduce a new variable such that Ti belongs to V. So for the terminal A suffix I, that T is the terminal. For that, introduce a new variable D suffix I. So which is belongs to again a variable. That if it is single variable, no problem. But in between variables, if you have a terminal, then we have to introduce a new variable for the terminal. So let us say, for example, here, now let us say A2 derives T. That means that is A derives A1. Here A2 is T. So A2 is T. The remaining remains same A3 and so on An. So now here, which is a terminal. That means A2 is a terminal. What you have to do here? So then here a new variable is introduced A1. Now for a terminal T, let us say D suffix T. With same terminal, we introduce a new variable. Then A3 and so on An. Now here, this is new variable. In place of terminal, new variable is introduced. And where, what is dt, that also you have written. dt derives t. Now see, dt is the variable, derives t is the terminal. Now terminal is a single value in the right hand side. So this is allowed in Chomsky normal form, one of the rule. So therefore, it is satisfying single terminal and two variables length. So whenever right hand side in between variables, if we have a terminal, for that introduce a new variable. So this is the step 4. Now let us move to example problem. So in examination, the questions will be given like this. Convert the following context-free grammar into Chomsky normal form. So these are all the productions given. Now we can solve this problem lively. So parallelly, all of you start doing this problem. So as per the procedure to convert a given grammar into Chomsky normal form, we have to follow the 4 steps mentioned in the procedure. So now step 1, what is step 1? So you have to remove or eliminate all epsilon or null productions, all unit productions, all useless symbols and useless productions. So first check out the grammar consisting of any of these, then you have to start remove one by one. So step 1 is eliminate all null productions, then unit productions, and useless symbols. Useless symbols. Check out one by one in the given grammar what it contains. So let us write given CFG S derives AAC, AA derives AAB or null, C derives AC or A. So you can start taking anyone. Initially, there is no priority. So if you want to remove epsilon production, first you can start eliminating that. Or if you want to remove unit productions, or if you want to remove useless symbols or useless productions. Given CFG, let us check. By seeing epsilon in the right hand side, we can easily identify null productions. Now here you can see the second production, that is A, right hand side, we have null here. So first you can remove null productions. Given CFG contains a null production. So what is null production? That is A derives epsilon. So remove null productions as per the procedure. Whatever the method we followed, same. Now, after removing null production, see wherever A is there. So now, first let us take S productions. S derives AAC. Original production you can take as it is. Then second one, here two variables are there in the right hand side of S. So one at a time you can substitute as null value. Suppose here leftmost A is replaced with null, then the remaining symbols are AC. Now here what we substituted, A derives null. Then another A also, if you can substitute second A as null, again you will get AC only, but you can take only one production at a time. There is no repetitions. So now both A's if you can substitute as null. Now both A's in the right hand side. Now you will get C. Now here we substituted again A epsilon, A derives epsilon. That means two times. That means in both A's we substituted. Now we got C. Now these are all the resultant S productions. Then coming to A productions. So A derives terminal A, variable A, terminal B or null. So directly you can remove null, but in A derives AAB, here variable A is there. So there also you can substitute null value. Now A derives terminal A, variable A, terminal B. Now A derives null is removed directly. Now the original production we can take as it is. Now in place of A, if you can substitute null, here you will get the terminal string AB. Here what is the substitution we used? A derives null. So these are all the resultant productions of A. Then C productions in the right hand side, there is no nullable variable. So C productions as it is you can consider. So now C derives, you can write down C productions as it is. Terminal A, variable C, and again terminal A. So this is the final grammar after eliminating null productions. So now let us check. Now for this you can verify further any unit productions or any useless symbols or useless productions. So now from the resultant grammar, now you can check unit productions. This also you can identify easily by seeing right hand side a single variable. Now you can see S productions. Here we have S derives C is there. This is unit production. Then A derives. Here we don't have single variable in the right hand side. C derives. We don't have single variable in the right hand side. Only for S contains unit production. So now the resultant grammar contains a unit production. So what is the unit production here? That is S derives C. Therefore, we have to remove. So remove S derives C by using substitution rule. How to remove unit productions? By using substitution rule only. That means whatever C contains, substitute all C productions in the right hand side of S productions wherever single C is there. Now S derives C becomes now. Therefore, S derives C becomes now. What is the C value here? Two productions are there, AC or A. Here what we substituted, C derives AC or A. Now you can rewrite the final grammar before checking next one. Therefore, So the final CFG is, now you can write down all S productions. S derives. First one AAC, AAC. Then second one AC. Then third one C. That is obtained by new production by substituting C value. Now this will become AC or A. So these are all S productions. Then A productions you can write down. A productions. A derives AAB or AAB or AB. Now C productions. C productions there is no change. AC or A. Now this is the final grammar after removing the above epsilon productions or unit productions. Now what you have to do, check out useless symbols and useless productions defining. For that, to verify usefulness, the first condition is all variables must and should derive a terminal string. That condition you can verify. Now you can see S derives A. Directly we have terminal. Then A derives AB. Terminal string is there. Then C derives terminal A. So all variables deriving terminal strings. Deriving terminal string. So first condition is satisfied. Then coming to second condition. That means every variable that should be reachable from S. Now that is starting variable productions. Now take S productions here. S derives AAC or AC or AC or B. This is A. Now you can see for this construct its dependency graph for S productions. By using dependency graph, we can verify dependency graph. Now take the left hand side variable S, right hand side all variables we can take. We have A and C. S is the starting variable. Now check out there is a path from S to A or not. Yes, we have S to A. Why? Because S derives AAC, AC. So at least one path is enough. Then again S derives C. Yes, we have all the first three productions contains right hand side C also. So now S derives C is also we have path. Therefore, both A and C, both A and C are reachable from the starting variable S. Therefore, no useless symbols. No useless symbols in the context-free grammar. Okay, now this is the outcome of step 1 after removing all epsilon productions, all unit productions, useless symbols. But here no useless symbols. Now we can proceed to step 2. Now this is the final grammar. Now you can write down final grammar here. Step 2. The final CFG G dash obtained in step 1. Now you can write down S derives AAC or AC, AAC or AC. Next one AC or A. Then A derives AAB or AB. A derives AAB or AB. Then C derives AC or B. C derives AC or A. Now you can see in step 2. What is step 2 here? If all productions after applying step 1 are of the form, that is, check whether all the productions are of the form A derives BC or A derives A. So if all productions are any one of these two forms, then you can say the grammar is in Chomsky normal form. But you can check out S productions, S derives AC. Here you can see two variables. Then S derives terminal A, single terminal. So only these two productions are in the required form. Whereas A derives, here no productions are in the required form. Then C derives AC, terminal variable is there. Here single terminal is there. So C derives terminal A is in the required form. Remaining are not in the required form. So therefore, S derives AC or A, then C derives A or in CNF. But remaining are not in CNF. For other productions, we have to apply further steps. So that is, you can apply step 3 and step 4. So now take other productions. S derives AAC, S derives terminal A, variable C. Take one by one, apply step 3. So now first consider, let us consider, now we are moving to step 3. S derives AAC, then S derives all other productions you can take. Then AC, similarly A, all productions you can take. Why? Because all A productions not in any one of the two forms. A derives AAB or AB, then C derives one production is not in the form AC. Now you can apply step 3 for all these productions. Now let us take one by one. S derives AAC. See, it is in the form of A1, A2, A3. Here you can see n greater than or equal to 3. Here right hand side we have 3 variables. So split S by introducing new variables and new productions. New variables and new productions. Therefore, S derives. So the first variable you can take as it is. The remaining, let us say, you can assume D1. Now we assumed AC as D1. Now what is D1? D1 derives. Suppose AC D something. Again, if it contains more than 3 variables, again you can split into 2. But here AC contains only 2 variables. So AC is in the required form. Now S derives A D1. Here D1 is the new variable. Then D1 derives AC. Therefore, these are all in the required form. Why? Because right hand side it contains 2 variables. S derives A D1. Then D1 derives AC. Again, right hand side it contains 2 variables. Therefore, this is in the required form. Now, other productions of S. S derives terminal A, variable C. Now, second one you can see S derives terminal A, variable C. Now you can see for this we can apply step 4. Why? Because right hand side we have a terminal followed by variable. So with variable combination, wherever terminal is there, you can use step 4 by using step 4, introduce new variable for terminal A. Let us say D suffix A is the new variable. So now, which is belongs to V. Therefore, now write in the resultant productions. S derives. In place of terminal A, we introduce D suffix A, C. Now you can see two variables are there. It is in the required form. Now what is D suffix A, that you can write down. Derives A. Now you can see. Now these are all the resultant productions which are in the required form. Two variables, here single terminal. Now all S productions are reduced to Chomsky normal form. Then coming to A productions. A contains two productions. Take one by one. First A derives terminal A, variable A, terminal B. So now A productions you can take. A derives terminal A, variable A, terminal B. Now here again by step 4. Why? Because here we have two variables. I mean two terminals followed by variable. Already for terminal A we introduced one new variable in the above that you can take as it is. But for B you can introduce another new variable. Now for terminal B, introduce a new variable. Say D suffix B. Therefore, A derives. For A, we already introduced D suffix A, then variable A remains same. For B, D suffix B. Now, D suffix B is new. Write down what is its value. D suffix B derives terminal B. Now, D suffix B is in the required form, but DA, DB is not in the required form. Why? Because it has three variables. Again, you can apply step 3. So, therefore, this is in CNF, Chomsky normal. Whereas A derives DA, by using step 3. That means we have to split A derives DA. Now you can introduce another new variable. Earlier we have introduced D1. Then you can continue with the D2. Now D2 is the new variable. Now what is D2? A DB. Now D2 derives A DB. Now you can see A derives DA D2. This is suffix. You can't consider it as terminal or variable. So DA D2 is in the required form. Then A DB also is in the required form. Means contains two variables are in CNF. Now another A productions are A derives terminals AB. Now let us take the fourth one. A derives terminal AB. See, for terminal A, we already introduced a new variable. For terminal B also, in the previous step, we already introduced a new variable. So directly you can substitute. Therefore, A derives D suffix A, then D suffix B. Here no need to write again D suffix A derives A, D suffix B derives B. Why? Because in the above you already mentioned these productions. Therefore, this is directly in the required form. E is in Chomsky normal form. Why? Because two variables are there in the right hand side. Then coming to C productions, C contains two productions. So what are the C productions here? C derives only one production which is not in the required form. C derives AC, terminal A, followed by variable C. Now C derives terminal A followed by variable C. See, for A, terminal A, we already introduced DA. So directly you can substitute here. C derives D suffix A or C. With the same terminal value, no need to introduce different variables. So now this is in the required form, E is in CN. Now you can see all productions are in the required form. Now you can write down all productions at one place with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. All productions wherever represented within a rectangle box. Then followed by already some original productions are in the required form. These also. S derives ACRA, C derives A. So along with these two, the new productions. All you can write down finally. So that is the final CFG which is in CNF. Therefore, final CFG G dash is in CNF is given below. Now you can combine all common starting variable productions. No need to take multiple types. Now first take S derives. The original productions are so variable A, variable C or terminal A. That means AC or A. AC or A. Now what are the new productions of S that you can add here? Now the new productions are S derives A D1, A D1 starting with S. Then again S derives DAC, DAC. Now you can write down all the new variables productions also. So before that, first take down A productions. Now A productions are the new productions of A. DA, D2. A derives DA, D2. Now A derives AB also. So DA, DB. DA, DB. Now write down C productions. Now C derives DAC. Already we have a single terminal production for C, which is in the required form in the beginning itself. That is C derives A. C derives A. Now here D1, D suffix A, D2, D suffix B are the new variables. Now write down their productions also. First D1. D1 derives AC. Even if D1 contains more than one production, you can combine. Now D1 derives variable A, variable C. Then any other productions starting with D1, we have only AC. Then D suffix A derives terminal A. D suffix A derives terminal A. Then D suffix B derives terminal B. Then we have D2 also. D2 derives A DB. D2 derives A DB. Check out any other missing productions. Now D2 is included, DB derives B is included, D suffix A derives A is included, D1 is included. Okay, now all productions are included here. Now you can see, finally you can check out the CNF condition now. All are in the required form or not. Here you can see. So the first production S production. Two variables length, AC, single terminal. Then two variables length, then two variables length. Then A productions, DA, D2, two variables length, DA, DB, two variables length. Then C productions, DAC, two variables length or a single terminal. Then D1 derives AC, two variables. DA derives single terminal A. DB derives single terminal B. Then D2 derives A, DB. So two variables. So therefore, E is in CNF. The final grammar is in Chomsky normal form. So you can recall once what we did. As for the procedure, first step 1, eliminate all null productions, unit productions, and useless symbols. Given context-free grammar contains a null production, A derives epsilon. So directly you can remove. So remove null productions. After removing null productions, these are the resultant productions. Now the resultant grammar contains again a unit production, that is S derives variable C, single variable in the right hand side. So unit productions also removed by substituting C productions. Then the final CFG, what we obtain. Then to verify usefulness. From this grammar, all variables, that is S, A, C, deriving terminal string. So therefore, there are no useless symbols as per point 1 of usefulness. Then second point, by constructing dependency graph, check out all variables are reachable or not from the starting variable. Now S derives AAC or AC or AC or A. Now you can see if we can draw its dependency graph. The variable A is derived from S. The variable C is also derived from S. That means there are no variables which are not reachable from the starting variable S. Therefore, no useless symbols in the context-free grammar. Now after applying step 1, proceed to step 2. The final CFG GDAS obtained in step 1 is, you can write the final resultant grammar of step 1. Check out whether all productions are of the required form or not. That means right hand side two variables or a single terminal. So by checking these two conditions, only the two productions, that is S derives AC or A, C derives A, are in CNF, but others not in CNF. For other productions, you can proceed to step 3 and step 4. Then coming to step 3, here you have to consider the non-CNF productions, then apply step 3 and step 4, which are applicable. Now we have considered S derives AAC, S derives AC, A derives AAB or AB, then C derives AC. Now take one by one. First S derives AAC, which is in the form of step 3, that is n greater than or equal to 3, more than 2 variables. By applying step 3, so you have to introduce new variables and new productions. So then you will get S derives A D1, then D1 derives AC. Then another S production, S derives terminal A variable C. So here terminal is occurred followed by variable. This is in the form of step 4. Then you have to introduce a new variable for the terminal A. So let us say D suffix A. Then you can substitute that variable in place of terminal A. Now S derives DAC. Now what is DA also you can write down. DA derives terminal. Now you can see S derives DAC in the required form, two variables. Then DA derives single terminal in the required form. Then coming to other non-CNF productions, that is the A productions. A derives terminal A, variable A, terminal B. Now terminal A, you already introduced a variable in the above step. Same you can substitute. But terminal B, you can introduce a new variable. Let us say D suffix B. You can substitute. Now A derives DA, A, DB, which is not in the required form. Here, what is DB? DB derives B. It is in the required form. Now again, you can apply step 3. Why? Because here more than two variables are there. By applying step 3, now A derives DA, D2. So we have to split two. Now what is D2, A, DB? Now these two are in the required form because both contains the variables of length 2. Now other A productions, A derives terminal A, terminal B. Terminal A, terminal B, we already introduced new variables in the previous step. Same we can substitute. Now DA, DB. Now A derives DA, DB. Contains two variables length. So therefore it is in the required form. Then coming to C productions. C derives terminal A, variable C. Terminal A, we already introduced a new variable. Same we can use. Now C derives DAC. Now already in the required form. Therefore, the final context-free grammar, which is in CNF, all productions listed here. So like that, any given problem, you can convert into the Chomsky normal form. So now the same solution here I have provided. We can go through here. Some practice problems also given. So after this example, here you can see. Convert the following CFG into CNF. E derives E plus T RT. T derives A or E within braces. So in this you can see the terminals are T equal to plus is terminal, lowercase letter a is terminal, open brace and closure brace. These are all the terminals. Now whereas variables are E, T. So don't confuse this terminal T and this T. This is the variable name, but this is the grammar definition. G equal to VTSP. So this is the T. But this T is nothing but the production. E derives E plus T or T. T derives A or E within brackets. So this T. So both are different. Don't confuse here. Now you can convert this grammar into CNF. Another problem, convert the following CFG into CNF. The productions are S, A, B, C, D. You can apply the same process. So different examples are given. All are previous questions. Whatever I have added here, these are all previous questions. Then another problem, convert the CFG into CNF. SAB are the variables. Then practice problem 4, again SAB. Okay, you can practice all these 4 problems. All are previous questions from various question papers I have collected. Then coming to summary, what we discussed. Here first we discussed about the definition of CNF, Chomsky normal form. Then the prerequisites of CNF. That means a context-free grammar does not contain null productions, unit productions, and useless symbols. Then reducing a context-free grammar into Chomsky normal form. One theorem followed by the procedure consisting of 4 steps. Then demonstrated one example problem.